Good morning or afternoon or evening or night time, boys and girls, wherever you are in the world. I have for you another bedtime story, and I have titled it Helen's Beautiful Dress and the Mysterious Paintings. And I hope you enjoy it. And here is the story. Helen skipped happily, holding a box in her hand. Helen was an intelligent girl. She was also a very hard worker. At the weekends she would go and help a sweet elderly lady mow her lawn. She was also an artist, and although she did not make much money for her paintings, she gratefully saved every last penny that she earned. Helen did not come from a rich family, but in the box that she carried was a beautiful blue dress that she had finally managed to buy, and that her eyes had been on it for weeks. Helen brought the dress because she had a crush on a boy called Boyd. He was tall, slim, muscular, and very handsome. Helen was a very happy girl. She loved feeling the gentle breeze and hearing the birds sweetly chirping. It made her feel as if she was on cloud nine. Helen was also known to be a daydreamer who desired to escape her Monday world into a land of fantasy and make-believe. Helen smiled. Birds, please tell me a secret. Let me into your world. It would be lovely to see through your eyes, the eyes of a bird. Helen then flipped her hair back as she smiled to the feeling of the sun that went around her like a warm blanket. The bird sang, Look up to the clouds above. They are mysterious and inviting. Helen pondered, Are they telling me it's time to have an adventure beyond the realms of reality in this world? The trees swung before her eyes as if they were dancing to the music in the wind and pointing her to another dimension. Helen was bullied by other girls, especially by Marissa, Margaret, and Natasha. They were rich and also had a crush on Boyd. They had everything given to them and did not have to even work. Marissa mocked. Look at Helen again. She has her head in the clouds. Her artwork is rubbish. The only friend she has is Mrs. Baker, who she cuts the grass for. Margaret and Natasha joined in with the mocking. Yeah, I know, right? But then Belinda showed up. She was the only true friend that Helen had. They were best friends from the day they were born in the same hospital. Belinda and her family were not rich either. Belinda had a heart of gold and helped Helen with the cost of her beautiful new dress. Belinda rejected. What you girls are saying is a lie, because she has me too. Marissa gritted her teeth in anger, asking Helen, What do you have in that box? It had better not be that blue dress. It was the last dress of that kind in that shop. My dad was going to just buy it for me. So if you brought that dress knowing very well that it is the last one, I will be very angry. Helen sighed. I am really sorry, but I did not know that it was the last dress. But even if the shop stopped selling that dress, surely you can buy a same dress from eBay or Amazon or something, or somewhere online. Marissa snapped. That is not the same as buying it from our local shop. Belinda asked. Why not? Marissa snapped. Because I said so. Boyd came from around the corner of the hedge and walked past them. Marissa, Natasha, and Margaret suddenly stopped their bitching and decided to act all innocent and sweet in front of Boyd, for all the girls, including them, had a crush on Boyd. Marissa smiled sweetly. Well, hello, Boyd. How are you? But Boyd just raised his eyebrows. Instead, he turned to Helen and Belinda, smiling. Hi, how lovely to see you two. With that, Marissa, Natasha, and Margaret burned up with great anger and jealousy. When Boyd walked off, Marissa snapped, You had better back off, because Boyd is my man, not yours. Do you understand? Helen nodded in agreement. Yes, understood. Marissa mocked. Good. Then we won't have any more problems. However, Natasha spoke up. Wait! Marissa, we still do have a problem, because Helen still has that blue dress. Is she or Belinda wears it? Boyd will surely fancy one of them, and it will leave us with no hope of Boyd ever falling in love with any one of us. Marissa replied, That is a good point. Come on, let's grab it from her. Helen and Belinda started to run away, with Marissa, Margaret, and Natasha running after them. Mrs. Baker saw the commotion and shouted, Leave that lovely girl, Helen, alone, you naughty girls. Do you hear me? Stop bothering them. But the naughty girls just laughed at Mrs. Baker and ignored her and carried on chasing Helen and Belinda. The sweet birds flew down and chirped, Remember, there is a way to escape from all the negativity, Helen asked as she ran and panted. Right. Now, my best friend and I need to escape from the bullies, but how do we? The birds chirped, Look to the trees. Helen and Belinda turned to look to the trees. They were holding beautiful paintings that Helen had painted in their branches. Instinctively, they ran towards the pictures. Helen smiled. Come, Belinda, don't be afraid. As they ran into the pictures, the scenery changed around them. They were no longer in their own streets, filled with houses and gardens. No, instead they were taken up in flight by a beautiful angel, who flew them through the clouds and into the earth's atmosphere. They looked back, surprised to see Margaret being taken and flown by another angel. The two angels took the girls up very high, right up into the heavens and past all the stars. The two angels showed the girls Saturn, Mars, Pluto, the Moon, Jupiter, Venus, Uranus, in fact, all 9 planets. The angel who was carrying Margaret said, I came from heaven, where the ultimate creator lives. In heaven, everyone lives in love. We accept each other for who or what, however they are. We desire mankind on earth to do the same, the rich not to judge the poor, and for the poor not to judge the rich. The angels then took the girls to visit different tribes in heaven and on other planets that lived in love. The girls never felt so much love in their lives. One of the angels turned to Margaret, saying, Now, Margaret, my child, go and make a difference to your friends. Show them how to live in love. Suddenly, the 3 girls found themselves laying on the grass. Marissa and Natasha were watching over them. Marissa snapped, Wake up, Margaret, and help me and Natasha get that dress off Helen. Because you never guess what happened. When you 3 girls went out into a mysterious sleep, Mrs. Baker suddenly got Helen's dress off of us. She ran to her car and locked it in her car. She told us that she would not let us have the dress. That she was helping Helen because she's always been kind to her. So what are you going to do to help us get it back, lazy bones? Margaret felt agitated with Marissa and Natasha until she remembered the angel words. She now wanted to change and make a difference for the better. Margaret sighed. I am not a lazy bones any longer. In fact, I am going to concentrate more at school so I can get better grades so that I can go to college to study law like my parents. The angel showed me while I was in heaven how both of my parents worked hard to become lawyers and how hard they still work. I used to take what they did for me for granted, thinking it was easy money, so I could become spoiled, wanting everything to fall in my lap. It's only now that I have discovered if you want something, you must work hard for it. Keep working on your talents and never give up. Shine your talents with Show your talents to this world. Live in love and work hard. Marissa and Natasha scoffed. If you think that way now, you can no longer be our friend. Margaret said, Fine, that is cool with me. Marissa and Natasha walked off shaking their heads. Helen smiled. Don't worry about them. You did the right thing. Margaret sighed. I owe you an apology. Please can you two girls forgive me? From now on I promise to change. Helen and Belinda in unison smiled and said, Of course we forgive you. In fact, you can be part of our friendship group if you like. Margaret smiled. Yes, I would like that. Mrs. Baker walked over smiling as she got the dress out from her car and gave it back to Helen. The three girls went back to Helen's house. While at their parents' house, they talked about everything with their parents. Helen's dad was a gardener and her mum did a waitressing job, but it did not matter to Helen. All that mattered was the fact that her parents worked hard with the talents and job that they already had. Belinda's parents were also at Helen's parents' house. Belinda's dad was a painter and her mum worked as a sales assistant in a jewelry shop. But to Belinda, she was very proud of her parents. They were not rich, but they provided for them. Margaret wanted to help both families out, but both Belinda and Helen's parents declined her offer as they felt that they had all the money and things that they needed already, a roof over their heads, food in their bellies, clothes on their backs, but most important of all, that money cannot even buy the love of a family's love. Yes, their families were very happy ones. They were also firm believers in working hard to get something one wanted. They all, however, encouraged Helen to put on her pretty new blue lace dress. When she got downstairs, everyone in unison said, Oh, Helen, you do look so beautiful. Helen smiled. Thank you. They all went outside into the street, where Helen got out her paints and paintbrush and started to paint. She painted pink clouds and rainbows. She painted birds talking to each other and what the birds could see through their bird's eyes. She beautifully painted the tiger fly and unicorns. She smiled. It would be wonderful to meet Aslan and the tiger fly for real, to have an adventure with them. Soon after she said that, Boyd came over and stared into her paintings. He smiled. So beautifully done. Helen blushed and said, Thank you. Then all of a sudden Boyd found himself floating through the pink clouds of Helen's painting. He muttered, Incredible. He had a conversation with all the birds in her painting, all of different colours of blues, greens, yellows, reds and browns and whites. He met Aslan and the tiger fly, and then he came out of the picture again. Boy smiled. My dad works for the art gallery. People are going to love your paintings. Do I have your permission to put them on display? Helen looked back to her parents for confirmation. Both her mum and dad smiled and nodded their heads. Helen, in excitement, chirped, "Yes, please." Boy smiled. "Thank you so much." He then gave Helen a kiss on the cheek, and she blushed again. Marissa and Natasha came from out of their house and saw Boyd giving Helen a kiss. They both gritted their teeth with envy. That evening there was more bad news for Marissa and Natasha. Natasha's dad had decided to leave Natasha's and her mum and her siblings and file for divorce. But Marissa's news was even worse. Her dad was going to be sent to prison for fraud and theft. Helen wanted to comfort Marissa and Natasha despite that they bullied her, but they did not want her help. Helen's mum explained to Helen that just because you have a lot of money and you're rich, it does not buy happiness. Money does not buy happiness. But love and making the most of what you have does. The next morning, Helen and her parents got invited to go to the art gallery where Boyd's dad worked. Helen put on her pretty lace dress as requested by Boyd. Everyone who came to the art gallery absolutely loved her paintings. While Helen was at the art gallery, she painted a beautiful painting of dolphins. They were so mystical and magical that all the children found themselves going into her paintings and having an adventure of their lives, just swimming with the dolphins and playing with the dolphins. That same day, an elderly man who was a multi-billionaire came to visit the art gallery. He stood at the painting. He eyed it up and down to investigate every detail of that painting. He bellowed out, "Hmm." Helen whispered in Boyd's ears, "Oh no, I don't think he likes it." And it only takes one person to show their disapproval for all of a person's artwork here to be totally dismissed. Boyd reassured, "Oh, don't worry, he is just looking and trying to figure it out." Helen whispered and asked, "Figure what out?" Boyd replied, "Just watch and wait and see." The elderly man continued staring at it for a long time, and as he scratched his head and chin and gave another bellowing, "Hmm." The whole gallery then went silent as to watch what this elderly man would do next. The elderly man then suddenly smiled and chirped, "No, I don't like it at all." Helen's face dropped in disappointment until the elderly billionaire continued, "In fact, I absolutely love it. In fact, I adore it. It is just what I need in my living room for my grandchildren, to give them a wonderful adventure. So I will give you 7 million for it." Helen's jaws dropped in shock. She never thought in a million years that she would even get 50 for her paintings. But now someone was offering her 7 million. She stuttered, "Oh my, thank you so much." The elderly billionaire got his checkbook and smiled, shaking his head, saying, "No need to thank me. It's you I need to thank. You see, life is more than just about money. It's about doing something special for those you love. I love my grandchildren, and this will be something to make them happy, as they have been sad for a very long time after moving away from their friends to go and live in another town." Helen smiled. "Glad I can make someone happy, but this money is going to change my family's life." The billionaire smiled. "Good, enjoy," and walked off with the painting. Boyd turned to Helen and smiled. I think you can make more than just someone happy, but many people's happy, especially children, with all your wonderful paintings. All anyone ever will need is to step inside your paintings for a mystical adventure. Helen smiled. From now on, I am going to make a difference. I am going to use this money to build a children's hospital that was needed in our town, and then I am going to paint for those children to have wonderful adventures. Helen indeed ended up using the money to build a children's hospital. Many children of that hospital got healed by her paintings after giving them a wonderful adventure in her paintings. Helen also kept a little money aside to take herself, Belinda, Margaret, along with all their families, on a wonderful holiday that they never forgot, swimming on a beautiful sapphire coloured beach with the dolphins. Helen shared what she had with her family. Helen shared the money, what she had with her family and Belinda's family and Mrs. Baker too. They never ever again had to worry about bills or lacking anything ever again. But it taught a lesson to everyone around that when you bless others, blessings always have a way to come back to you. And they remained very joyful and loving. And that's the end. And I hope you all enjoyed. And God bless you all for now. Bye for now.